Today's assignment: a video presentation on short answer type questions and their answers from the proposal. Welcome to the channel Priyanka Datta. Here you will find video presentations on English language and literature, school level, college level, and competitive examinations. Now, we discuss the questions and their answers. 1. How would you assess the title of Chekhov's The Proposal? Answer: the title of Chekhov's play arouses several questions. These are: who gives the proposal, to whom is the proposal given, what is the proposal about, why is the proposal given, and how does the person to whom the proposal is given react to it. The play answers that Lomov gives the proposal. The proposal is given to Chubukov. The proposal is about the marriage of Lomov with Chubukov's daughter Natalya. The proposal is given because Lomov finds some practical causes of marrying Natalya and that Chubukov immediately accepts the proposal of Lomov. Moreover, the play incorporates other events, all of which pivot around the said proposal. Hence one can say that the title is appropriate. 2. Make an assessment of the plot of the proposal. Answer: Chekhov's The Proposal has a neatly developed plot of a comedy. Lomov's proposal of his marriage with Natalya and Chubukov's accepting it from the exposition. The complication starts as Natalya comes to talk to Lomov, ignorant of the other's proposal. The climax is achieved as Lomov leaves Chubukov's house and Natalya comes to know about Lomov's proposal. The beginning of the solution starts as Lomov is called back at the wish of Natalya. Things, however, get complicated as Lomov, Natalya and Chubukov once again become involved in a quarrel and Lomov becomes unconscious in the process. However, the play reaches a happy end with Lomov and Natalya getting engaged, though not with the prospect of a happy marital life. 3. Comment on the opening of Anton Chekhov's The Proposal. Answer: Anton Chekhov's The Proposal opens with Lomov's coming to Chubukov's house with his proposal of marrying Natalya. Since the latter has already thought to make the former his son-in-law, to him the proposal acts as a kind of wish fulfillment. His immediate acceptance of the proposal gives immense relief to Lomov. However, the emotional instability which both of them exhibit in the course of their verbal encounter arouses farcical laughter. What satisfies Lomov immensely is the assurance which Chubukov gives about Natalya's affirmative response to the said proposal. Thus, the very opening suggests an uncomplicated action which will become complicated as the play will proceed. This is where the key interest of the opening of the proposal rests. 4. How does the proposal end? Or, comment on the ending of the proposal. Answer: towards the end of the proposal, Chubukov brings Lomov back with the hope that both Lomov and Natalya will discuss their marriage. Things go smoothly as Natalya tells Lomov to change the topic related to the Oxen Meadows. So Lomov talks about guests becoming lame-footed. It brings Natalya's dog Squeezer into question. Soon they begin to quarrel over the relative superiority of their pet dogs. Hearing them quarrel, Chubukov comes and takes the side of Natalya. As a result, the debate becomes heated and so Lomov becomes unconscious. However, when Lomov gains consciousness, Chubukov makes them engaged. Very soon they start to quarrel with one another. Thus, the ending throws a questioning light on their marital life becoming peaceful. 5. Discuss the reasons why the marriage proposal is important to all the characters. Answer: the marriage proposal is important to all the characters of Chekhov's The Proposal, Lomov, Natalya and Chubukov, for some practical reasons. However, the reasons differ from person to person. To be precise, Lomov wants to marry Natalya for 3 factors. First, he wants to establish his grip over the Oxen Meadows in the process. Secondly, he wants to bring regularity and stability in his life. Moreover, in his perception, Natalya is an excellent housekeeper, well-educated and not bad-looking. On the other hand, Natalya wants to marry Lomov because of Lomov's fame and fortune. Chubukov is keen to make Lomov his son-in-law because he feels that the relationship will increase his social prestige. 6. How does Chekhov alternate the actual proposal and the arguments? Answer: in The Proposal, Chekhov alternates the actual proposal and the arguments in an interesting way. At first, Lomov comes to Chubukov's house with the proposal of his marriage with Natalya. After Chubukov agrees to it, Lomov goes to propose to Natalya. Before this he tries to impress her. So, he refers to his possession of the Oxen Meadows. As Natalya thinks otherwise, an argument begins between the two. This argument becomes so heated that Lomov leaves the house. Then Lomov is called back. In order to change the topic, Lomov refers to guesses suddenly becoming lame. As the matter of Squeezer comes by comparison, another argument ensues. Thus, arguments follow one another but the proposal is not conveyed to Natalya. 7. What is the effect of alternating the proposal and the arguments in the proposal? Answer. The alternating the proposal and the arguments in the proposal has two effects. First, it brings into light the characters concerned. For example, Natalya appears as a possessive woman, possessive of the Oxen Meadows. Moreover, Lomov appears as a litigious person who argues not only illegally but also illogically. Finally, Chubukov appears not as a sensible father because rather than calming Lomov and Natalya down, he acts as a catalyst to their quarrel. The second effect is that the alternating brings into focus the then social life. To be precise, the first argument shows how the bourgeoisie people of the time hankered after a disputed piece of land and that they were proud of their pet dogs. 8. What is the theme of Chekhov's The Proposal? Answer. Chekhov's The Proposal dramatizes the theme of marriage through the marriage of Lomov and Natalya. Indeed, the play focuses on the fact that Lomov, Natalya and Chubukov approached this marital relationship with practical concerns. To be explicit, Lomov wants to marry Natalya for three factors. First, he wants to establish his grip over the Oxen Meadows in the process. Secondly, he wants to bring regularity and stability in his life. Moreover, in his perception Natalya is an excellent housekeeper, well-educated and not bad-looking. On the other hand, Natalya wants to marry Lomov because of Lomov's fame and fortune. Finally, Chubukov is keen to get Lomov and Natalya married because he feels that the relationship will increase his social prestige. 9. Make a brief sketch of social life as you see in the play The Proposal. Answer. The proposal dramatizes some aspects of the middle-class people of Russia. First, these people look upon marriage as a social necessity. For example, Lomov wants to marry Natalya to possess the disputed Oxen Meadows. Again, Natalya wants to marry Lomov because of Lomov's fame and fortune. Chubukov is keen to make Lomov his son-in-law because he feels that the relationship will increase his social prestige. Secondly, they are possessive in nature and are proud of their possessions. Thirdly, this possessiveness, every now and then, makes them quarrel. Fourthly, they use abusive language and make personal attacks in such a situation. However, they use flattery, when needed. Finally, farming is their main occupation and peas are cultivated by them. 10. How would you assess the proposal as a farce? Answer. Chekhov's The Proposal is a farce because it has the characteristics of farce such as exaggerated characterization, improbable situations and horseplay. In the category of exaggerated characterization one can refer to the quarrelsome attitude and the legal pretension of Natalya and Lomov, the comical side of Chubukov the father etc. Again, there are some improbable situations like Lomov's leaving Chubukov's house without making the proposal, the lack of authoritative voice of Lomov, Chubukov and Natalya for the proposed marriage, Natalya's forgetting the real motive of calling Lomov back and quarreling with him, Natalya's mistaking the unconscious Lomov as dead, and Lomov and Natalya quarreling with one another even after being engaged. Finally, horseplay too abounds in the play. 11. How would you assess the proposal as a one-act play? Answer. Chekhov's The Proposal fulfills all the characteristics of the one-act play. First, it focuses on a single event, Lomov's proposing to Natalya for marriage, to be specific. Secondly, it has a limited number of characters, only 3 to be exact, namely Natalya, Chubukov and Lomov. Thirdly, these characters have been developed to a certain level. To be precise, only the ridiculous aspects of all these characters have been focused. Fourthly, the play has a neatly developed plot. Finally, it perfectly maintains the dramatic unities of time, place and action. To be precise, the entire action occurs in Chubukov's house, roughly covers a period of a few hours and never digresses from the focal event which is the marriage proposal. 12. Make an assessment of the character of Chubukov. Answer. Chubukov is an interesting character. He is materialistic in nature. Therefore, he consents in Lomov's marriage proposal because it is likely to improve his social status. No wonder, he flatters Lomov. However, when Lomov claims the meadows, he opposes because he has a possessive character and so wants to possess this disputed piece of land. He has a comical side too. For example, though he decides not to interfere in the conversation of Lomov and Natalya, he does the opposite. His intervention in getting Lomov and Natalya engaged is however a wise move on his part. To conclude, along with these aspects, his lack of control over Natalya establishes him as an insensible father. 13. Is Chubukov a sensible father? How do you know? Answer. In The Proposal, Chekhov presents several instances to suggest that Chubukov is not a sensible father. First, Chubukov should have told Natalya about Lomov's proposal in unambiguous terms before she meets him. However, he uses metaphorical language in this case and Natalya fails to decipher it. Secondly, he sides with Natalya in her quarrel with Lomov whereas he should have restrained her from it. One may say that he does a sensible thing by calling Lomov back, but his doing so without ensuring Lomov's further humiliation minimizes his credit. Equally insensible is his indirect instigation at Natalya's insulting Lomov by himself insulting him. However, he does a sensible thing in making Natalya and Lomov engaged when Lomov gains consciousness. 14. Make an assessment of the character of Lomov. Answer: Lomov of Chekhov's The Proposal epitomizes elasticity of character for personal interest, though with a comic touch. He wants to marry Natalya not for love but for practical reasons. He exploits the soft corner of the Chubukovs for him on several occasions. He is possessive of the disputed Oxen Meadows. He quarrels with Natalya and Chubukov on 2 occasions. He even makes personal attacks on the Chubukovs. He shows the smartness in leaving their house when he finds himself helpless. He stigmatizes his moral integrity when he goes back to Chubukov's house. As Chubukov and Natalya tease him, he cannot sustain it and becomes unconscious. However, he finally becomes engaged to her. In short, he is an interesting character. 15. Make an assessment of the character of Natalya Stepanovna. Answer: Natalya Stepanovna of Chubukov's The Proposal is an interesting character. She has a liking for Lomov and so she becomes glad to see him. She is possessive in nature. So, when Lomov speaks of his possession of the Oxen Meadows, she quarrels with him. She verbally attacks his family members. She taunts him too. However, when she finds that he has become unconscious, she fears the worst and begins to cry loudly. She regains poise when she discovers that he is alive. Expectedly, she accepts Lomov's proposal and they become engaged. However, very soon she begins to quarrel with Lomov because it is her original self. Thus, she behaves in accordance with the situation in which she finds herself. 16. How does Lomov give his proposal to Chubukov and to what effect? Answer: Lomov comes to Chubukov's house in order to give the other the proposal of his marriage with Natalya. He becomes excited before doing so. Moreover, the words which he uses in this situation make Chubukov think that he has come to borrow money. However, when at last he gets over this hesitation, he succeeds in conveying his marriage proposal. To Chubukov the proposal acts as a kind of wish fulfillment and so he immediately accepts it. He wishes that God will shower his love for him and Natalya. He assures him that Natalya will accept his proposal. However, he exhibits his loss of emotional stability in the process of giving this reaction. 17. Why does Lomov decide to marry and why does he think that Natalya will be the fittest for it? Answer: Lomov decides to marry because of 2 reasons. First, he is more than 35 years old and thus he has gone beyond the normal age of marriage. Moreover, he wants to lead a quiet and regular life which he feels can be achieved only by getting married. However, he finds 3 qualities in Natalya on the basis of which he thinks that Natalya will be the fittest for it. First, Natalya is an excellent housekeeper. Secondly, she is not bad looking. Last but not the least, she is well educated. Thus, she fulfills all the pragmatic grounds which Lomov has in mind. 18. Reproduce the opening conversation between Lomov and Natalya before it becomes really heated owing to the possession of the Oxen Meadows. Answer: Seeing Lomov, Natalya became surprised and told that she expected to meet a merchant. Lomov then asked her how she was. In reply, she told him to excuse her for her informal dress. She asked him why he had not come to their house for such a long time. She also told him to sit down. She then asked him to have some lunch. As he refused, she told him to smoke. Then she told him about the foul weather of the previous day. She then asked him about the reason for his wearing the formal dress. Lomov then tried to tell her about his proposal but did not succeed. 19. Reproduce the debate between Lomov and Natalya over their possession over the Oxen Meadows. Answer: Lomov refers to his possession of the disputed Oxen Meadows in order to impress Natalya. However, Natalya tells him that the meadows belong to them. Thus, the quarrel gets motion. Lomov, on his part, tells that the meadows were given to the Chubukovs for free use by the Lomovs. On the other hand, Natalya says that the meadows originally belonged to them. In the meantime, Chubukov enters and takes the side of Natalya. Then Lomov threatens that he will take the matter to the court. It adds fuel to the fire. On the other hand, Chubukov tells Lomov not to set foot to his house anymore. Lomov leaves the house. Thus, the debate ends. 20. How does Chubukov become involved in the quarrel between Lomov and Natalya over their ownership of the Oxen Meadows? Answer. Hearing Lomov and Natalya quarrel, Chubukov comes in. As he takes the side of Natalya, Lomov tries to persuade him by referring to the mutual understanding between the two families. But Chubukov refers to the plan of the Oxen Meadows in his support. Therefore, Lomov takes recourse to shouting. So Chubukov prohibits him from doing so and threatens to give the Oxen Meadows to the mowers. At this, Lomov questions Chubukov's legal right to do so. Now as Chubukov tells Lomov to behave sanely, the latter accuses the other as a grabber. Now as Natalya rejoins the quarrel, Lomov threatens that he will take the matter to the court. Now the quarrel turns to personal attack. 21. Reproduce the personal attack of Lomov to the Chubukovs and that of Natalya and Chubukov to Lomov's, which resulted in Lomov's leaving Chubukov's house. Answer. Lomov threatens that he will take the case of the Oxen Meadows to the court. Then Chubukov accuses Lomov as a pettifogger. Lomov tells that Chubukov's grandfather had been accused of embezzlement. Chubukov tells that the Lomovs were lunatics and adds that Lomov's grandfather was a drunkard and his younger aunt escaped with an architect. Lomov tells that Chubukov's mother was hump-backed. Chubukov tells that Lomov's aunt was the greatest backbiter. Then Lomov tells that Natalya is an intriguer. In reply, Chubukov calls him a malicious double-faced intriguer. It is really much for Lomov to digest. So, he leaves Chubukov's house. 22. Reproduce the conversation between Chubukov and Natalya after Lomov leaves their house. Answer. After Lomov leaves their house, both Chubukov and Natalya abuse him. Then whereas Natalya focuses on his unneighborly behavior, Chubukov satirizes his appearance. While doing so, Chubukov refers to Lomov's audacity in giving a proposal. As Natalya asks him about the nature of this proposal, Chubukov tells her about Lomov's marriage proposal. As expected, Natalya accuses her father for spoiling her marital prospect by not telling her about the proposal earlier. Not only that, she hysterics and pesters him to bring Lomov back. He complies with her pleading. Before Lomov comes back, both Chubukov and Natalya accuse one another for the previous action. 23. Reproduce the debate between Lomov and Natalya over the relative superiority of guess and squeezer. Answer. After coming back to Chubukov's house, Lomov, in the course of his conversation with Natalya, refers to his pet dog Guess being lame-footed. He adds that he has paid 125 rubles for Guess. Natalya says that their squeezer has cost 85 rubles and adds that squeezer is better than Guess. As Lomov does not accept it, there begins a quarrel. Lomov says that squeezer has a defective jaw. Then as Chubukov comes in, he is told to give his opinion. He says that squeezer is better and that Guess is old and has a defective muzzle. As Natalya joins her father in taunting Lomov, he cannot tolerate the mental pressure and so faints. Thus, the debate ends. 24. How does Chubukov become involved in the quarrel between Lomov and Natalya over the relative superiority of their pet dogs? Answer. When Lomov and Natalya quarrel about the relative superiority of their pet dogs, Chubukov comes in and takes the side of Natalya. He opines that Chubukov's dog Guess is old and overshot. He gives his justification of Squeezer's miserable performance on the Morozensky hunt. He adds that like all people, Lomov is jealous of another person's dog and so is telling bad things about Squeezer. Then he starts teasing Lomov. As Natalya joins him, he adds his verbal attacks to Lomov. Though Lomov does not remain totally passive, he finds it impossible to face the mental pressure and so faints. Thus, things reach a point of culmination. 25. How do Chubukov and Natalya behave after Lomov becomes unconscious? Answer. It is Natalya who at first discovers the unconscious Lomov. However, he mistakes him to be dead. So, she shouts and tells Chubukov to call in a doctor. Now Chubukov asks her what the matter is. As Natalya tells him that Lomov is dead, he makes Lomov drink water. As Lomov does not react, Chubukov tells that he is the unhappiest person. He even speaks of killing himself by cutting his throat with a knife or putting a bullet into his brain with a pistol. Then as Lomov moves, Chubukov makes him drink water. As Lomov drinks water, both Natalya and Chubukov heave a sigh of relief. 26. What do Chubukov, Natalya and Lomov do after Lomov achieves consciousness? Answer. After Lomov achieves consciousness, both Natalya and Chubukov heave a sigh of relief. Lomov seems to have lost sense of place for the time being. Then Chubukov tells Lomov to get married to Natalya. He adds that Natalya is willing to marry him. He gives both of them his blessing. Gradually Lomov gains full sense and Natalya confesses of her consent in the said marriage. As they kiss one another, Chubukov feels relieved. However, very soon they resume their quarrel over the superiority of their pet dogs. As Chubukov senses that their familiar life is going to be other than blissful, he shouts for champagne in an effort to quieten down Natalya. Thank you for watching.